Did you like Mario Rabbids Kingdom? Well, here comes a similar but at the same time different game. Hello, Switchey here. Today I review Pathway, a strategic RPG adventure game created by German studio Robotality. The game was first released in 2019, but it took another 2 years before a version was released on Nintendo Switch. Well, here we are, yet another indie game on Switch, so let's find out if it's any good. Now, there is something about pixel art games that gets me interested. Somehow the graphics are really appealing. Just look at this, guess what it is you see? A military vehicle. A tent. A palm tree. In my opinion, pixel artists are awesome. The skill of creating something from something that looks like a mess is ingenious. I don't know how they do it, but the end result is really good. Games like Stardew Valley have really shaken the genre to life, and you're constantly on the lookout for games that are similar and of the same high quality. When I found Pathway in Nintendo eShop, I knew I was on the right track. Maybe I had found something as entertaining and easy as Stardew Valley. I bought it and boy did I feel cheated. Just look at this starting screen. A couple of friends sitting around the campfire and resting. So peaceful, inviting and atmospheric. If I only knew what this game was all about. Nazis, death, grenades, knives, zombies, occultism, gore, necromancy, and so on. You know, the common pixel art stuff. Do you remember the innocent times with Super Mario? 8-bit magic at its best, so much fun for the family. Well, welcome to pixel art hardcore extravaganza. Forget about jumping on Goombas and shooting shell. This is hardcore pixel art, nothing for the weak and vulnerable. At the beginning you can choose between 6 characters who I suppose all oppose the Nazi regime. I don't know about this guy though. From his looks he reminds me of someone I recognize. Anyway, he seems to be a good guy, so I might choose him anyway. All characters have different skills and perks, so it may be a good idea to put together a team that includes both healers and damage dealers. Natalia is a pretty good healer and her skill tree is full of options that boost her healing. A good pick if you take a lot of damage. Omar is another good option since he's got the repair kit skill. If your armor becomes worn out, you can fix it with a repair kit, very useful to withstand all attacks from zombies and Nazis. Other than that, just pick damage dealers of your liking, or a mix of ranged and melee DPS. The game consists of 5 campaigns, each unlocked the further you go. The goal is to get through the map and reach the dot marked with an X. Move from dot to dot, discover random RP events, find supplies or encounter enemies. The first mission is to release this man who is held hostage by the Nazis. Judging by the look, it looks more like unleashing a bad guy than helping the typical video game beauty. Princess Peach in all its glory, but here we are talking about rescuing guys who are at the risk of being executed by Nazis. To put it mildly, hardcore to say the least. By the way, could they have chosen a more difficult to read text? Can barely read the breathing without my eyes starting to bleed. The battles are reminiscent to Mario Rabbids Kingdom in that it is turn-based and you move your men around while trying to destroy your opponents. The art of being able to harm your enemies while staying away from your opponent's attacks. Basically you need to take as little damage as possible, but at the same time deal as much damage as possible. That's why it's important to know your enemy's strengths and weaknesses. Some enemies got a small health pool and can be killed nice and easy. Others are stronger and must be eliminated with many attacks. I usually try to get rid of dogs ASAP because they're such a pain having around. They die quite easy though. Other enemies are much more dangerous and require you to be disciplined in positioning and how you choose to attack. For example, zombies. It is not ideal to try kill zombies in melee range, because if they die they risk exploding, and the damage they do is quite large. They also throw grenades, which means that there must be a distance between your men, otherwise several people will be hit at the same time. There is a LOS meter which is important to keep track of. It tells you with the percentage probability that you will hit your enemy, below 50% and the risk is high that you will miss. Always try to have a 100% chance of hitting, especially if you know your shot is deadly. But you should also try to stay away, so that the enemies have little chance of hitting you. The tactical part is what makes this game charming and fun to play. Sometimes I have made real beginner mistakes, didn't pay attention, and by accident I shot my own bodies. In fact, I've done it several times, not on purpose, of course. Until now, I have played through this game a couple of times and sometimes it feels like playing a board game. You move your squad from dot to dot and in the beginning it is difficult to predict what will happen next. Maybe you come across a couple of Nazis or zombies, gets a puncture in your jeep and is punished with lost fuel. Maybe you're lucky and find things and materials that boost your guys. In any case, it is luck that in many cases determines your fate. There is a certain tension and unpredictability in not being able to control what will happen, but at the same time it feels a little unfair as you have a perfect setup but everything goes wrong due to bad luck with the dice roll. Imagine Super Mario, all of a sudden the game stops and you get 3 options that are decided with a roll of the dice. 1. A massive wall with deadly fire. 2. A huge hole that leads to a certain death. 3. Reach the flag directly. Games based on luck can be fun, but also hugely frustrating. An essential part of the game is about unlocking new characters and experiencing constantly changing game maps. But the 5 campaigns are all that is offered and eventually it gets a bit repetitive and boring, though the opportunities that exists. I would really like an expansion that turns the game upside down. The opportunity to be able to do something unexpected and which takes the game in a new interesting direction. It is up to the developer to figure out what could make the game more unique. All in all, the game is by no means bad. The graphics in the game are nice, but in terms of gameplay it feels a bit monotonous and in the long run predictable. If you like this type of game, you can buy it digitally for $16. Have fun, and don't forget to subscribe.